The Goth kids are coming to Marvel Snap. Dust off your combat boots and find the nearest highway underpass. Because today, we're checking out the Black Order and the locations and other stuff as well in this installment of Season Pass Review. Peter and Bert. What's going on, nerds? This new season's cool. Let's stop beating around the bush any longer and just jump right in with the season pass card, Black Swan. Black Swan is a 3 energy, 5 power card that reads on reveal until the end of next turn, your 1 cost cards cost 0. Now, the first thing I will say when talking about this card is cost reduction has always been busted. No matter what you think of a card, if it reduces the cost of other cards, you can't really see how good it's going to be until you play around with it. Quinjet, Zabu, Loki, Sarah, Beast to an extent. All these cards have been changed at some point because, like I said, cost reduction is good. Now, the first thing anyone thinks of when they see this deck is Thanos, and rightfully so. It's a Thanos adjacent character, and Thanos has a bunch of 1-cost cards. Wow. So Quinjet used to be played in Thanos decks because it would reduce the cost of Infinity Stones to 0. And guess what? The Thanos decks were absolutely unbeatable back then. You could cycle into your Lockjaw for free while playing other cards. It was ridiculous. Now, all that's changed. Lockjaw's different now, Quinjet is different now, but we have a card that might harken back to those redonkulous times. And the next thing that everyone's probably thinking about is bounce decks, or hit monkey decks to an extent. If you have Beast, Falcon, and Black Swan in the same deck, and like 6 1-cost cards, and then the rest of your deck as well, like Bishop, Hit Monkey, I don't know, whatever the hell else you want, this is gonna be pretty good. You're gonna get giant Hit Monkeys, and half the cards you play are gonna cost 1 or 0. So yeah, I'm not sure, no one can really say if this card's bad, great, broken, or whatever until people start playing around with it. Just like I said, cost reduction is something you should always be wary of or excited about. I don't know. You get my point. Next up is SuperGiant. SuperGiant is a 4 energy, 5 power card that reads on reveal, all cards played next turn don't reveal until the game ends. Okay, so I was just gonna say, I know all the stuff this card stops, like Annihilus, Leech, Professor X, blah, blah, blah. All the big 5-cost cards that ruin people's days and enjoyment of the game, but I still hate this card. I don't like the type of play it promotes, and it's another 4-cost tech card that is very annoying. Killmonger, Shang-Chi, Enchantress, I guess Super Skrull to an extent in the right meta, they're all very good for their cost, and well, now we got a new one. So yeah, sure, if you really hate Leech, this is gonna stop Leech, but just keep in mind all the other stuff it's going to do to decks that you do like playing. It's gonna get annoying. You might be like, yay, Leech is not good anymore. But it's not just Leech, it's a bunch of other decks this could affect, and it's annoying. That's all I'm gonna say about SuperGiant. If you want to know more about this card and trying to crack this card, cracked, busted, whatever, go check out Snap Judgment's YouTube channel, because I know Glazer is super high on this card. Next, Cull Obsidian. Cull Obsidian is a 4 energy, 10 power card that reads, you can only play this where you have a 1-cost card. So real quick, before we talk about this card anymore, not really much to talk about, it's just a simple card. It's a big boy. But real quick, it's been confirmed by the devs that you can play this and a 1-cost card on the same turn, and that will meet Cull Obsidian's requirement. So let's just say you have a lane that's empty, you have a 1-cost card in your hand and Cull Obsidian in your hand. You can play the 1-cost card down and then play Cull Obsidian. It will see the card that you were playing before it on the same turn. So that does make this card much better. But I don't really think it needed to be that much better because this card's simple and I think super good. Think about Typhoid Mary, Sentry, Atuma, all those 10 power 4-cost cards. You have to like work to make them good. This card, you gotta work. I mean, any deck that's running like 3 1-cost cards probably run this without any issues. And this is obviously just to auto include in Thanos decks. So yeah, Cull Obsidian, simple card. I think we now have a second best 4-drop in the game because Miss Marvel's obviously better. It's just more power with a 14 power total with Miss Marvel. Cull Obsidian's a close second. Next card, Corvus Glaive. Corvus Glaive is a 3 energy 5 power card that reads on reveal, discard 2 cards from your hand to get +1 max energy. Hellcow is officially a useless card now? Yeah. So the first thing I'll say about Corvus Glaive is stop daydreaming about Corvus Glaive being some like new ramp card in like a Hella deck or a ramp deck. This is not going to be good for those. I think this is just good as a backup MODOK, a better Hellcow in MODOK decks, basically. Sure, there's going to be some versions of like a Hella list that will play this, but with Hella, you want like targeted single discard. You don't really want a card like Corvus Glaive. However, I guess you could just play a bunch of expensive cards in Corvus, and if you discard your Hella, oh well, you still have some ramp and you can play some cards out early. Sure, I guess that could work, yeah. But yeah, just in general, it's a simple card. It's great. I think this replaces Hellcow in any list that would have ever considered Hellcow. And yeah, it's a cool card. I'm glad discard's getting some love. Speaking of discard, Proxima Midnight. I like this card. Proxima Midnight is a 4 energy 7 power card that says when this is discarded, jumps to your lowest power location that isn't full. This is it's a free 7 power card. This is, I think, now like the second best card in discard decks behind Morbius. It's a free 7 power. Huh? Discard played Wolverine happily. That was a free 4 power basically. Now you get a better Wolverine. And playing both of those together. And free swarms. I mean, discard's like, I don't know, it's cool. I'm glad discard's getting this. But yeah, discard now has like Morbius, Meek, Wolverine, Proxima Midnight. You have cards that cost 0 or minimal energy that are getting you big power, and that's awesome. When this comes out, if you play discard at all, you have to buy this because I think this is going to be a staple forever. There's some downsides to Proxima Midnight. I suppose you could discard it to a location that you don't want. Like it goes to the lowest power location, so maybe you discard her and it jumps over to a space throne. That would suck. But you got to think of the other part of that is you could discard this to something like Altar of Death or Death's Domain, or Sanctum Sanctorum or Luke's Bar, whatever. Is it going to win you the game with her ability more than it's going to lose you the game? Yeah, but those are the cards. Let's check out some locations real quick. First location is the Black Vortex. It reads the first card you play here becomes a random 6-cost card. Yeah, that's cool. People are just going to race to throw their cards down on this early. You don't want to play it late because you might get something like Destroyer, but just throwing your 1 or 2 drops into this location. All right. Next location is Sanctuary 2. It says add a random Infinity Stone to your hand. This is a non-location, really. I mean, it's whatever. I like this location because it's not really going to affect the game too much. The Season Pass variants art, they're really cool. All the art this season is super sick. I like the theme of this season. Thumbs up for me. I mean, look at those card backs. It's awesome. This is the coolest looking season. All right, let's give a letter ranking to all the new cards. Black Swan is a little tricky, but I'm giving her a B. Now, this could turn into like an A+ or a C+. It depends on what actually happens with her. All I know is cost reduction's good, so I'm giving this a decent grade. SuperGiant, I'm giving an F for this card. Now, in all reality, it's probably better, but skip. Cull Obsidian, I am giving an A, because this is now the second best 4-drop in the game, in my opinion. Corvus Glaive, I'm giving a C+. I'm sure there's going to be a couple of decks that can really use it well, but in general, I think this is just a decent MODOK backup. Proxima Midnight, I want to give this card an A+, but it only goes in one single deck, so I'm giving this card a B+. It's a staple in discard from here on out, but it's super niche, so you can't give it a super great grade when it's so narrow that only one deck will ever use it. All right, that's it. That's my review of this season. I think this season is awesome. It looks great. The cards are cool as hell. Some much needed support for cards, for archetypes like discard. Super cool. Self-promotion time. Check out Into the AAM in the description below. It's a t-shirt company based out of California. They do basics, just like regular fundamentals of clothing, and they have really cool graphic design clothes. You get 10% off site-wide if you use the link in the description, or if you just use code NERF10 at checkout. Also, if you like my shirt, you can grab this and some other sweet designs that I made myself in the description below. Members of the channel get 10% off. That's it though. Stop chilling. Later on, nerds.
Skip.